Okay. We were just talking about the CP 575 and the payment coupons, 670 payment coupons. Jeremy had sent some in, some endorsed them and sent them in recently as well. So he's waiting to get a response to that. He sent it to the address on the coupon. And then also there's a video in the 903 folder that's in RECOUPERS that will give you some more guidance on that, because that's what he followed when he sent in his payment coupons, his 670 coupons.
Hi. Yeah, I haven't gotten anything back yet, but that's basically what I did. Was I followed the IRS agent's instructions in that video and filled out my 670s the way he said and sent them back.
Awesome. Teresa, you're back?
Yes, I'm back and I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I have any funds or not, because since the CP5 got lost in the mail, I don't know if there was a 999 there. It just says bought, so they know there's a captain of the ship, but I don't know if there are any funds there. But can't I get funds there with a 1099-A?
I believe so. Some people were doing that in order to get a credit on their account.
Yeah, so I'll figure it out. But I have to wait for my I-10 because I have no idea what's going on in the background, because I did my ID verification for IRS, but I can't get into the portal. And I think that's because I don't have an I-10. So I applied for an I-10, ITIN, and I'm waiting for that. And then I'll see what's going on in the background. Because
you don't have a social? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I'm from Europe, so we don't have a social. We have a local tax identification number. And I've been kind of trying to apply all this, following you guys and trying to apply this here. And I was saying on another call with Kimmery the other day that I did the 1099 ABB with my local Portuguese tax number, and it worked because I did it. I mean, it worked. I worked to the extent that the Treasury, which I did it on them because they're the ones who garnished my account, they called me, but they didn't know what to do with it. So they got it. I don't know where the funds are, if they're in Portugal or if they're in the US. I still have to figure that out. I'm waiting for the I-10 to figure that out. But I'll keep you guys posted, because if this works here, it will work all over the place.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So when you get the 575, for which entity did you get the 575?
For a foreign grantor 98, because since I'm operating, because I was following Tamika and Paths to Freedom, they're very strong on the 98, and I spent like a year trying to get a 98 number, which is actually easier. And so it was on a foreign in a 98 number, and they sent a CP 575, which got lost in the mail. So I called in, and then they sent me that with a use for payment. I believe it's a 147 coupon with a use for payment.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's from no bod back to bod, so there's a body, but I don't know how many funds are in there because I don't know how to read this coupon. I don't know where the funds are explained.
Well, the 1099 ABB, you should have, since you did that, then you should have credits on your transcript.
So but I did that. I didn't do that for this EIN. I did that with the Portuguese TIN number, because when you actually
for that EIN, and maybe you can get some credits that way then.
Oh,
with the 1099A.
Okay, I do it with the okay. Because I could put my Portuguese TIN number inside that trust and do it with this trust, right?
Maybe. Try it and see, honey. I don't have a definite answer,
okay.
But
we'll try. We'll try
and see what happens.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
So, Dr. Heather, hey. I'm kind of new but not new, and just too busy with so many things, and I can't quite fit it in my head clearly what goes on when there's a foreign grantor trust and then the social we get the CP 575, let's say, for foreign grantor trust, and then I have a CP 575 for a estate. Then I have a CP 575 for a private bank that I got the EIN as a tax exempt kind of entity. So now to capture the credits on those three separate CP 575s, how do we where does the credits flow to whom? Can
have
you just
you
give us?
ever done a 1099A, or have you ever endorsed any of those CP 575s or 147Cs and sent it back to the IRS?
You know what I did? I did accepted them on the stub side.
Okay.
And then I've sent them back, sent them to Treasury.
Okay, and what happened?
Nothing.
You just waiting?
Yeah, it's been I don't know. The last one I sent was the bank one, a private bank one, and it's been like over 6 months.
Have you called to talk to them to see if there was any credits? Because you can't see it. You can't see it online. There's no online portal for the business side.
Who am I going to talk to see?
You call the IRS and you call the business line and you give them your EIN number for your estate or your trust or whatever, and they can look and see if there's any credits on there, because there is no online portal for the business line. For the business side, you can't see your transcripts online. Is my point for anything that's a business outside. The only time you can see stuff online is using your social security number, and you log in with the ID me, and then you can see your stuff that way.
Oh,
right, which I've done.
But you cannot see anything from the business side. Go ahead.
You can also see your sole proprietorship.
Yes,
is one
the only one.
that. Yes. Right.
Your sole prop is the only one you can see online. But any other business entity, any EIN number you have to call to ask them about the credits, and then you can also request a transcript in the mail or fax it in, and it's the 4506 T as in Tom form in order to request a copy of your transcript for that business entity.
Thank you for that clarity. I didn't know we couldn't access the trust EINs online. Thank you.
No, only your social and sole prop, like Nate just said. Yep, that's it. Just those two things. Iris has not set it up yet. No, you're good. Go ahead, honey.
Okay. I do have another question, because I'm doing this with another guy from Norway who's trying out like me, and he has credits. He already had a CP 575. Somebody helped him with a 1099A, and he has credits, and he's willing to like help me because, well, we're working together. We don't know how to pull those credits down. Does anybody know how to pull them down? I was watching videos, and I saw people say you can assign them to another business, like they assign them between themselves, right?
Yeah, but you can pull them down through your trust. Yep. To my knowledge, let me say it this way. To my knowledge, the only way to pull credits down to get them into your bank account is to file a tax return for that entity. Now, you could do it through your trust. You can do it through the social security number. Wherever those credits are sitting, that entity needs to file a tax return in order to get the money out, especially if there's an overpayment on the account. You have to file a return.
So if he has and how would he file a return? With the amount of credits he wants to pull down?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how to do
Nate,
that
were you going to say something?
No, sorry. I'm over.
Nathan, no, hold on one second. Nathan, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that the 1040, 1041, the return, I'm starting to look at it as like a withdrawal slip, right? And so you have to have something to put on the withdrawal slip.
So you have to make a deposit.
Right. So, and that's what we kind of use the 1099s for, is documenting that deposit or withholding or withdrawal. That's the 1099s. It could be how we move credits around or report how we are moving credits around or intend to move credits around.
Right. But in order to get it out, to draw them down, which is what her initial question was, to get them from the IRS, that overpayment over to you. Let's say you have a credit of $2 million, but you only want to pull down $500,000. You have to file a tax return for that $500,000, putting that 1099 credit on that line on the I think it's 25A or 25B, whatever it is, on your 1040 tax return or whatever the number is for 1041, which is the trust one, and then you pull that down, and that's how you pull down the credits. To my knowledge, that's what you have to file a tax return.
Okay,
in that video, that video that's posted in my subgroup here in RECOUPERS, it talks about turning the ES and V into a check. So anytime you send an amount to them, like you're doing a tax return or you're doing an ES&V or some other process within this, you attach that 670 to it filled out for the amount. They're going to send you a payment used for payment coupon. It'll say payment on it. And then that 670 you fill out like a money order, just like you would any other. And you send it back in, paid to the order of the U.S. Treasury. The IRS takes that. They send it off to the Treasury because they're acting as your fiduciary and trustee. That's what we did when we gave them the 56 and the 2848 through the trust, the Irrevocable Living Trust. But they're going to take that and send it off and get the check for the full amount, right? And then like on mine, it says, let me pull it up real quick.
You put them as trustees on the 2848? That's a different process. Okay. I thought you put ourselves as trustees.
No, that's not.
Yeah, but you're talking about two separate things there. You actually don't want to be the trustee. I would open a sole prop, real easy, takes 5 minutes. And I would use the sole prop as the trustee and keep yourself as beneficiary, because something you'll learn along the way is if you're a trustee, you lose all equitable interest, right? So you don't want to be the trustee. You want an entity as the trustee, and your sole prop would be a good trustee for you to control everything.
Oh, right? Wow. So they claim your credits guide because they put themselves as trustees or a trust.
Yeah, we learned later you don't want to do that. That you yourself don't want to be trustee. You yourself want us to stay in the beneficiary role and operate through an entity, through a transmitting utility. That's what the trust is for. That's what the sole prop is for. That's what your businesses are for. That's what all these different trusts that you get are for. They're all transmitting utilities. And what a transmitting utility does is transmit your energy into another system. So from your system to another system. That's what a transmitting utility does, back and forth, back and forth.
And you prefer sole prop than a trust, than a living trust? Because I was told it was a living trust, and I tried that.
No, you do the living trust, and you go ahead. It takes 5 minutes to create the living trust. You still got to go record it and do all this other shit with it. But the sole prop takes 5 minutes. Then you'll have that EIN for the sole prop. You need to accept the CP575. This process, nothing about this is going to be short or quick.
Yes,
because you still got to let all this information promulgate the system when you do it. So I would just all at once when you set up your living trust, go ahead and get your sole prop done. All right. So your EIN, so all that promulgates in the system. Anytime you appoint a trustee, you're appointing the sole prop as the trustee.
Okay, not the okay.
Yeah, because you're gonna be acting in all those hats. You just don't want a living person acting as a trustee. You don't want a job. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, you want an entity to work for you because you're the source, right? So why would the source be working for itself when we don't have to just push out the energy to these transmitting utilities and push it out into the universe per se? And that's what it is. Treasury converts energy into a currency.
Thank you.
The bank takes your currency and transfers it into from lawful to legal. And the difference between lawful credits and your legal credits, lawful credits are stored in the private for your use whenever, and legal credits, the commercial credits, are what's in circulation. You got to have a commercial interface to take lawful credits and pump it into the commercial credits.
Which would be the sole prop. The sole prop then.
Well, that would be the guy transmitting the energy for you.
And the sole prop is in your name? It's like your all caps name, sole prop?
Yeah, that's you doing business as you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah, but it keeps the entity there instead of you claiming, hey, I'm the living man or woman acting as trustee. No. The system was set up for entities. It's not for living men and women. So when we move in either side, we need to move through these entities, not ourselves.
But we can put the trust as the trustee as well. We can put the living trust or a sole prop as trustee. Is that so? Is that correct?
No, you can't do that inside the trust. You need to make the sole prop the trustee. You need to make a separate entity trustee.
Oh,
That's
okay,
your
you
third
mean
party moving on your behalf.
okay, you mean inside the trust, inside the living
Yeah.
trust, I put my sole prop as the trustee. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
And my
it's just paperwork. That's all it is.
yes, and the sole prop would be my all caps name, sole prop.
It
What's the
can
difference?
be. No, it could be my sole prop is my all caps name for me
Okay.
personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that you call into the EIN and ask for a sole prop EIN, right?
You can do it online on Monday. Do
I
it right
can't.
online.
We can't do it because we're operating
Oh,
for
that's right.
Europe.
That's right. So you got to
That's
call.
yes. I
Yeah,
have to.
you got to call or fax it in. Yes.
And they'll give me a 98, which is okay. I can operate through a 98.
I don't think it's a 98. If you ask for a sole prop because you're foreign, I don't. You got to ask them about that. I'm not sure
Okay.
how they do that with the sole prop.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity.
Yeah. Just think about how we're getting ripped off and how they're structured to do it. We do the same thing to bring it all back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I was watching Eon's video, which he has a lot of information. Another way that I think you can pull down credits, according to him, is you can assign them, not transfer, assign them to another business entity. And you just have to document that with a private contract because in case you get audited, that's something, and within the IBOE. So that's another thing I'm looking into. When I have more clarity, I can come and share, but I'm still looking into that.
Okay.
But you'll still need to submit some form of return.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
In order to get it out of the IRS.
Yes. Okay. But has anybody done that yet here?
What try to pull down credits
No.
using their tax return?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a majority of people have done that, just waiting for the IRS to do their job.
Okay.
Yeah, I did an amended return for a miscellaneous that I had for $250K. So I'm waiting for that to come in. I did those three 670s, one from 2022 tax year and two from 2025 tax year.
I mean 24 tax year.
No, 2025. It says it on the 670, and then the 2022.
Really?
Yeah, and then the 2022. I don't remember filing anything for 2022, but they've already assessed that one. Between 2022 and 2025, the two that I got there, that's 1.3, and then I've got another 500K out for 23 and 24 that I did 670s on. So I'm just waiting for all that to come back at this point.
And how long ago did you do that?
I did the 670s about 2 months ago.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sent those off. Well, these so those were just for the 23, 24. Just recently, I got 3 670s, the 2022 and the 2 from 2025, and I filled those out and sent them back off. From what I understand, once you get these and send them off to Ogden, it's like a 3-week window for the return check, but we'll see.
Is this conversation going to be recorded?
It is recorded, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's put where so I can listen to it more attentively?
It'll be posted in where we keep all our it says video library and RECOUPERS.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, so like she was talking about, so I did the non-decedent trust, and then of course I was a trustee, and then I rolled in the Social Security number into that non-decedent trust. So what status is the Social Security under that non-decedent trust? It's not a beneficiary, right? What is it?
The Social Security?
The living revocable trust?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be the grantor.
No, because the non-decedent trust put, when you say the grantor, so the Social Security number was the grantor of the non-decedent trust?
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you print out the paperwork, it says right there, it's the grantor. It's the new transmitting utility. It's you taking it into the private and moving through trusts like the state does for you.
But I think But I think you put your Social Security number and your all caps inside your living trust, right? They're not the grantor.
Yeah.
You're okay.
No, that's not how the revocable living trust works.
Yeah, how does
When you
that?
print that out, the grantor is the all caps name. It's not you. You don't want to be the grantor. You don't have title to be the grantor, so you can't be the grantor of something you didn't create. All right, that trust was created through an estate that the state created at your birth. That's why the state is the grantor, the estate. It's the grantor. You're the beneficiary on that side. All right, and then you can once you get an EIN, that's what makes you an employer. Now you can employ corporations and entities to do tasks for you. And that's how the system is set up. They act as your fiduciary and your trustee, and they reroute the funds to themselves, not sending it to you because there's no disclosure. You don't know. They also get the things that you abandon on the backside. All right. Just a transmitting utility. Don't get caught up in authority and owning this or what's mine or what's that, because you own nothing. Nobody owns anything. And that's what we need to grasp is everybody's trying to get back what's theirs. It's nobody's. All right. It's a tool that we use. That's what the transmitting utility, the revocable living trust is your new transmitting utility. Before, the state did it all for you. You didn't even know what was going on, but they were holding you as surety, which is illegal and unlawful.
Okay, so if I understand this, the sole prop, I want to do the paperwork to change and make the sole prop the trustee of the non-decedent trust, right?
Right, and that's still you moving and controlling everything as a trustee. You're just not. You're using an entity to transmit through. You don't want to do it yourself. You want to sit back in the beneficiary role and reap all the benefits. All right. We want to make these entities for us, even if we are the ones controlling it. It's just a different hat you put on. Right. You got to think business wise. Like, how do I separate myself from liability while still incurring the benefit?
And how do you sign? You sign your name? Because when you put it in the trust as a trustee, do you put the sole prop with all caps name with a different EIN?
I just write my name out however I want to and just put the marker at the end, whether it be a trustee, executor, sole prop, beneficiary, whatever the case may be. Whatever I'm doing at that moment, I put the marker behind it so they know which entity is moving.
But when you put your 2848 and you put when you do your revocation, your power of attorney, you put the sole prop with the EIN.
You're giving the FBI you're authorizing that the IRS to operate on your behalf. That's what the 56 and the 2848 is doing. You're making them a fiduciary and them a trustee to operate on your behalf for your benefit. That's what you're doing when you issue the IRS a 2848 and a Form 56. What you do internally with your trustee, you can do all that. You can do all that too. All right. Whatever your trustee may be, you're still going to need to give them the rights as well. And you can give them specific or general. You can just give them general run of the mill where they have access to everything, which if it's you, that's what I would do. I would just type me up a letter, basically giving my sole prop access to everything. He has the ability to do everything. And then put that in the minutes for your trust. And it's just writing it up saying I'm appointing the sole prop, da, 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 da. That way, if anybody does come and audit your public side, which your trust, your living or your revocable living trust is still accessible to the public. Mm-hmm. That's what we set up the irrevocable trust for, is to make those assets disappear into the private so the beneficiaries can reap the benefits of it through an irrevocable trust.
And oh God, this has been so confusing. So many people have given different information. So, because in this claim your credits guide, we put ourselves as trustees of that living trust. So that's wrong. That's not supposed. And we put ourselves as fiduciary as well. So that's all wrong.
It's not wrong, because you are the grantor of the living trust, but you want to wrap your living trust in a blanket, or in the living trust needs protection because the living trust is still you, and you still need a vehicle to interact with the public or in commerce. And so that's what we use the irrevocable trust for. You
are not the grantor. I have to stress that you are not the grantor in a living revocable trust. The estate is the grantor. You didn't create that. All right. So they're not going to give you that top title over the estate and have you control the estate in that manner. That's why you move as the beneficiary, not the owner.
Well,
You are
actually,
not the grantor. Yeah, you're not the grantor in a revocable living trust.
even if you claimed your estate?
You are the beneficiary. You're never going to own the estate. You're never going to own it, right? You didn't create it. So you can't possibly own that estate that you didn't create.
Okay.
But what you can do, and what you was positioned from in the beginning, was the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been operating as beneficiaries. We've been operating as surety. So we're removing ourselves from the surety position and moving to the beneficiary. Now, if you want to be the owner, then you have to move strictly into private. You can't be interfacing into the public. That's commingling. When you're in the public, you're in the public. Everything dealing with that estate is in the public, which is operating in the for-profit corporations. That's where the confusion is. All right. When you put yourself as a trustee in a transmitting utility, all right, just you, not a hat, you forfeit all your beneficial interests. Now you have beneficiaries that's going to get that, not you, because you're the trustee. You have a job to do, and you don't have a right to the benefits of what that trust brings in. That's why we have the ability to create entities, all right, to move for us. All right, it's not us there. Technically, we're controlling it, but it's not us. All right, it's the sole prop, or it's an LLC, specific for doing your taxes, or specific for accounting, or whatever. You have entities moving for you. You're the boss, the jefe, the big guy, right? You're not going to have, what's that?
You still sign under as your sole prop because you're controlling the sole prop. So you would sign your first last name for the sole prop.
Yep. And you would write sole prop at the end of it. So they would know who's moving in that instance. Right.
So so in the living trust, the all caps would be the grantor, which is not me, but it will be the estate. And the trustee would be my all caps sole prop.
Yeah, your sole prop, that is the sole prop / trustee.
Sole prop trustee. And who would be the beneficiary? Me and my children, for example, or another entity?
You, your children, or whoever else you wanted to make a beneficiary. Any entity can be a beneficiary. Any living man or woman can be a beneficiary.
Okay, and then
even your kids.
The way you put that into your irrevocable trust. Oh, because if you put your sole prop as trustee, that doesn't collapse the trust even if you're the sole beneficiary, because you're not all three positions, right? So that would work.
Right. No trust can fail for lack of trustee.
Okay. And
the beneficiaries can always appoint a new trustee to do the business for them. And like I said, we created the sole prop that is basically a paper form of us, and that's who's doing it for us now.
And why don't we appoint them as trustees, the IRS, so they can do their job? Wouldn't that work?
We did.
Oh.
We did in the beginning. We gave them power of attorney and made them fiduciary. So now they have to act on our behalf for our benefit. That gives them the ability to process your paperwork.
But are we correcting that, or are we leaving that be? Because if they are trustees, they have to operate in the best interest of the beneficiaries. But we just have to claim.
Not if you're in control of it. Not if you're not in control of it. All right, if you're not out administering the affairs for it, then you're not in control of it. The state will automatically step in and reap the benefits for it. That's what the state is designed for.
Okay.
So until we stand up and take control, they're still going to act they're going to act on their behalf like they've been doing.
So when you send the non-decedent letter, because in the claim your credits package, the non-decedent, you come in as trustee. So you don't do it that way then?
You can initially. You can always change the position. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
If you originally if you originally started moving like that, you can always go back in. It's your trust. You can control it how you want to. That's the beautiful part about not being surety and then standing over here as a beneficiary directing traffic. Over there, you're being directed. Over here, you're directing traffic. You just need to know how in depth you need to be. You need to know all aspects of it. You need to understand what the trustees for. You need to understand what the grantors for. You need to understand what the beneficiaries for. It's important to break all that down. That's how you start to realize that everything is fake. All right. And we create fake entities to administer in the game of monopoly. Because it's not us that's supposed to be held as surety. It's the estate, the living estate is surety.
And the book that will help kind of understand more about the trust stuff is the Weiss Handbook, the Weiss Trust Handbook. That'll help.
I read it, but it's so many people saying different things that it gets confusing. Thank you.
I will say this, Teresa, that is very true. There are a lot of people that say different things, but trust yourself. Go with what feels right to your spirit and lead that way, because not everything's for everybody.
Yes.
So just go by, set up yourself the way that you feel strongly that your spirit is talking to you and telling you to do. Jeremy's giving you his opinion of how what he knows and the knowledge that he has, but you ultimately you still have to step in and make sure it's right for you.
Yes, thank you. I will.
Yeah, and I love exposing a guru. I can't stand people who charge for this information. People's like, oh, well, I provide a service. No, you don't. You're selling public information. You're giving shit away that's in a set of instructions somewhere that's publicly available. I've noticed that a lot of these gurus add a bunch of extra steps to make it extra confusing, so you never really figure out how simple it is.
I know.
But once you start getting into it and you start learning, more about these processes and what form does what, you'll start to see, you'll look back and be like, well, that guy's full of shit and this guy's full of shit. I know there's a lot of people that probably say I'm full of shit, but I only share and I only speak on what I know and what I'm doing. So that's it. And what works for me, what gets results. And I haven't gotten nothing paid yet, but I'm closer now than I've ever been, because I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 5 irons in the fire, and all of them are decent amounts. So.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next question or comment. Thank you, Teresa, for that. Anybody else?
Jeremy, I'm pretty new at this, okay? I'm very new. Now, are you the 903?
Yep, that's him.
Okay. So I've been following you on some TikTok and stuff. But it's been a while. I'm just slowly kind of moving into this thing and trying to get my husband on board with all this. Now, as far as a trust, do we each need to do a trust? I mean, he's got his children, I got my children, we've got grandchildren, we've got an LLC. So I don't know where to start as far as a trust.
So you can do one individually. You can also do one as you're married, because when you get married in the system, it's called a merger. And you're merging those two estates together. So when one gets charged, the other one gets charged. It's a double tap on your estate when you get married inside the system and don't know what the system is. So I would set up individual, and I'd also do one for the married entity.
Okay, so would I be putting like my individual in my married name or in my maiden name? I mean, yeah.
So just from what I've experienced with the whole married thing is they'll send you 670s with the married name, both names merged. They'll also send you 670s individually. That's how I figured out that there's 3 entities operating there in a marriage. There's you, your husband, and then y'all's marriage estate. So
I could do like my trust for the stuff that I have and the things I want to give to my children for me. We've agreed on that, and his children get what he has. And then as far as us together, our house, our business, we can put that together for all of them.
Yeah, I started out with the Irrevocable Living Trust. And then since then I've gotten a private express trust. I've got a family irrevocable trust. I've got my sole prop, and that's what I've been moving through. The irrevocable is where you send your assets to disappear out of the public. So say you got property you want to give to your beneficiaries, you're going to put that in the irrevocable trust. The revocable, the living revocable trust is for, businesses, for assets that you're going to upgrade, vehicles we pull in. We want to place those inside the trust. There's some simple forms that you can transfer them into the trust. There's other forms that you can pay those debts off right off the bat. I haven't learned enough to actually get into it that deep, but I know that people are paying off their car notes and shit, just a few months after they get the vehicle. And then they take in return and they create their own documents and transfer the title and shit over into the Revocable Living Trust. So that way it's protected from taxes and shit.
Yeah.
You're taking back control of the asset. You don't own it. The state owns it. It's registered through the state, but you control it.
Right. Everything is it's so new. So I'm overwhelmed, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I've been at this for 2 years, and it took me a while to figure out the hat game, what position does what where, and how do I move in those positions to benefit, trust that I'm moving in. So that's where I come up with the sole prop moving as my trustee. So the revocable living trust, I want to remain as a beneficiary because I want to reap the benefits directly. But I can't do that if I'm a trustee, because trustees, they don't get any of the benefits. They forfeit all that by being a trustee. So someone showed me down the road where they were moving as, using their sole prop to do all that for them, and everything come in at their sole prop. So that's basically what all mine did, is all my taxes and stuff come to my trustee, and my trustee manages all my affairs with the payment coupons and filing taxes and keeping up with the paperwork. So if someone comes looking, hey, where's the sole prop at? Be like, oh yeah, he's right here. I'll hand them a folder.
So is your trustee like one of your family members or just somebody?
No, it's just my sole prop. Like, I created a sole prop. I got an EIN for my sole prop, and I made my sole prop my trustee. So now I just step up, put my hat on as the sole prop, and move as the trustee. But I'm the beneficiary. All right. I created an entity to move for me. It's how the system works.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. You got to know how the system works in order to mirror it. And you're going to mirror it for yourself so you can redirect. Right. Imagine looking in a mirror and you're seeing your reflection reflect back at you.
Okay.
Right. The light does the same thing. The light reflects in the mirror and shoots back out. Well, I want that to come back on me. All right. I'm the source of everything. So I shouldn't be held down by some medial task like a trustee. Right. So me, as my body sits here, I'm moving the chess pieces on the chessboard. Right. My sole prop does all my filings and shit for me. All the checks come to the sole prop. When I cash checks, I cash it in the sole prop's account. He administers those funds back out to the beneficiaries, which is me. So I just take it and go put it in my banking account from there, and I go spend it however I want to. But yeah.
Isn't that commingling?
No, because remember, that's your commercial interface. It's not you, it's a commercial interface. It's someone that's moving in the public for you. It's like hiring, you don't want to wash your car. So you hire a company to come wash your car, and they've got employees out there that have signed in as trustees to go administer for that business. So they come out and perform the work while you sit back and watch. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're hiring other people to come do shit for us, and we're making them fiduciaries and trustees.
And so the sole prop is a trust. So your SSN person or blue card person is the beneficiary. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm the beneficiary. The living man, woman. I'm the beneficiary. Yeah, that's a created entity. It's an entity. All right. I'm not an entity. I'm a vessel. All right. So but those entities, I move those entities around the chessboard. My sole prop I created to be my trustee. I'm the beneficiary. The estate is the utility.
No, and I get that part. But when you say that your sole prop is moving, is that you're the beneficiary of all of these chess pieces moving, how are you recouping as you? Are you recouping as you, the SSN person? Or you're saying
doesn't. No, my sole prop does everything. When you see someone moving on my taxes, that's the sole prop doing it. Even though I'm doing it. It's my entity that I'm controlling back here with my little strings. I'm the puppet master now. Yeah, so I pick up the strings to my sole prop and move him over there instead of me doing it. Now I got this sole prop I'm dangling in front of the IRS. Like, yeah, this is the guy you want. So if you shoot him, you got to shoot him, not me. All right, shoot him up. All right, I'll go home and patch him up.
And I get that, but so in terms of receiving funds, right? Because going back to Tereshina's question about commingling. So if your sole prop is moving as your chess piece on the board, your representative, how are you the person receiving the funds as a beneficiary? Like the sole prop is doing it on your behalf.
Yeah, the sole prop gets the check. So me and the sole prop, I dangle him over there at the bank and he deposits the check. And then from there, I take him and he communicates with the teller and tells the teller I need to deposit this in my regular checking.
My social security number checking. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay. Cool. No, it makes total sense. I love the way you explain this. This makes total sense.
And anytime you move, like say your estate, you want your estate attached to a PO box. You don't want it attached. Mine's still at my address. I need to get a PO box, but the idea of it is since it's an entity, you don't want it to, domiciled at your house. You want it domiciled at a PO box.
Okay.
Right, because now you're confused. Now you're confusing the system, right? Because everything's under one address. Like my trust and my sole props are all under the same address, along with my estate. But my estate is supposed to be in a PO box.
Okay, so all of the trusts and the estate should be under the PO box.
No, just the estate. Make sure the estate itself has a
separate.
When it says when it comes in on that all caps name, it should say PO box, and you should have to go to the post office to get the mail.
Okay, but then all of the other trusts, the irrevocable, the revocable, the private express, and the sole prop can be under one address, or no?
Yeah, I mean that's how I have mine.
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I got a question on that PO box in the estate. Having it in the estate, wouldn't it be the FG foreign grantor trust? Because since the foreign grantor trust is not, it's an EIN that's not registered with the social security number.
With the foreign grantor trust address.
Yeah, the foreign grantor.
Same with it. Yeah, you can do the same with it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, just wanted to clarify because usually what I think about when it comes to the post office, it's pretty much it's a de jure, right, jurisdiction. So they would want something that's not connected to the IRS and all that. So that the FGT doesn't have we went and got it without the social security number, but that clears it up. Thanks.
All right, who's next? Who has questions, comments?
Yeah, I still have to get an estate EIN and a foreign grantor trust EIN for other shit, but to do this, I didn't get either one of those. So.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, so our non-decedent trust, that's a tax exempt entity, correct? Because we're living.
I don't know the answer to that.
Don't want to report anything as income. Income is taxable. So if you're reporting income from the trust, that income will still be taxable. So you just have to be mindful of what you're reporting. All right, we don't make any income inside of a trust.
Right. Well, so when the credits are coming through, after you send in the to accept the CP 575, so we get the credits in our non-decedent trust and open up a bank account. So then when we file our 1041, that income return, obviously that would be the only money coming in because I'm not gonna run a business out of it, right?
You shouldn't have any income to report. The only time you're going to report income is when you're working a job as the social security number. Any other time, it's not going to be income. So you wouldn't have to report the income portion because there's no income. You would report it under something completely different.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now you do have to, if you're on disability, and I mean, once you get access to the funds, I don't think your disability is going to matter anymore. But you do have to be mindful. Like my threshold's $11,000 a month. So if I end up making it appear as if there's income coming in over $11,000 a month, and they check your personal banking account, at that point, I would come in conflict with the VA as far as my disability goes because I've hit a threshold as far as funds goes. Because in their mind, if you're making over $11,000 a month, you don't need the benefits.
11,000 a month or 1,100?
11,000 is where they cut your benefits off through the VA. That's the last I checked.
Okay, good.
So, I would definitely learn how to move through the trust accounts and shit and how to purchase through trust. It's not that difficult. I'm still learning, but it doesn't seem that difficult.
Hey, Jeremy, real quick. Did you go over the part where when I said I received my coupon, how to got to make sure the credit's there? Because I didn't get that part.
Oh, that's just accepting your CP 575. You write
Right, I
accepted
did
on
that.
it up at the top center. Write your phone number, best time to call. Bottom right corner, you want to write your name in all caps and the social security number with no dashes.
Yes, I did that, and then I got the coupons back. I got the accident voucher with the routing number on the bottom, and it says tax date 0000.
So those are blank. You want to attach those to any of your filings for the year. If you got an amount you sent in that you're trying to get back, send in a 670 filled out like a money order with that, with those documents. Like if you're doing the ES&V, attach a 670 for the amount the ESV is for. If you're doing a tax return, go ahead and fill out a fucking 670 for that amount of the tax return that you're filing and just attach it to the documents and send it in. You're going to have to do it anyway. So,
okay. Now, what if I'm using it as a payment coupon? Like if I'm paying a, right. So if I write, I know how to endorse it on the back.
No, we don't sign. We don't sign these.
Okay.
No, you don't endorse them. You just fill them out, turn them into money orders, and send them out. You don't sign them. If you sign them, anybody can take that and cash that check. All right.
Okay.
You did an open endorsement on it, and now anybody can take it and take care of that through the IRS or the Treasury. So anybody could be able to just snatch your check. That's why you don't sign it.
Okay, but mine is ready to go. I don't have to do anything else with. I mean, outside the endorsement or whatever I need to do with it, but I don't have to do it.
You convert it into a money order. Follow that video down there in that subgroup, the 903 post only.
Okay.
That's how you're going to fill out your 670. Just like
okay,
you said.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
then send it back to the address on the coupon.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's the part I missed. Sorry. All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and one more crucial part is whatever year you're filling that out for, make sure that up there by the IRS there'll be a little gap between that and your address and shit. Right, the tax year that applies to. Tax year, for this one I'm looking at tax year 2022. I put tax year 2022. I put daytime phone number, and then in the center I put money order. I put the date on the right side. I spelt out the amount below that. Bottom right hand corner I put my name by the all caps name and then the social security number, no dashes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I plopped it back in the envelope that it came in, or that they send you an extra envelope. I put it back in that envelope, put my address, took it up to the post office, they put some stamps on it and sent it off.
I have to send it by the post office, or can I send it private, like UPS?
I mean, you can send it however you want. I was just following instructions.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's usually the cheapest route. Gotcha. The other way, you're going to be doing the certified return receipt. It adds up. Like it fucking adds up. So I just follow the simple instructions they give me. If they tell me to file something, I fucking file it. If not, you can always call them and ask them questions. Hey, I got this letter, trying to figure out what it's for. I'm not really understanding. I would definitely be more knowledgeable before reaching out to the IRS, but a lot of this stuff is pretty simple.
Exactly. Okay, then. Appreciate you, Jeremy.
I have a quick question. I noticed someone mentioning the non-decedent trust. Is that trust really necessary for this process?
It's not a non-decedent trust. It's a non-decedent letter in name of the trust.
They said
the phrase non-decedent trust, but that's not what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's incorrect. It's not a non-decedent trust. It's just an irrevocable or revocable trust or living trust.
Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to get that clarity.
That's how they interpreted it, but that's not that's not a thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for your irrevocable, make it a private express trust. A family, mine's the Ellis Family Private Express Trust. That's my irrevocable trust. From there, you can control pretty much anything, all right? Because you have to do it from the private. So administering from the private through your private express trust, that's where all your assets and shit will go. So if you got property, you're going to put it in there under the trust. Also, what beneficiary it's going to, whether it's divided up or whatnot.
I said Ellis family.
Hey, Jeremy, where are you located?
Northeast Texas.
I'm in Centerville.
Okay.
What was Steve saying?
I missed it. Steve?
Yeah, Steve was talking and...
What are you going to say, Steve?
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Okay.
Oh, it was somebody. Okay.
Hi, I wanted to ask, how do they know that your stuff is in an irrevocable trust? Do you do a quitclaim deed and then you put it on the record so they know that your property is under an irrevocable trust?
Yeah, you could just do a cover letter to them or just a letter to them and let them know, and then put the numbers off the deed.
Okay, because here in Portugal, they don't, so-called, they don't accept trust, which is a lie, because everything is a trust, but they don't operate in trust. And that's why I've been having the runaround, because they're not recognized, apparently. And nobody will give you an EIN.
By doing so, they have to admit to their fraud.
Yes, exactly. So it's a bit more complicated. Okay. But so you just put them on notice that all that property has been transferred into a trust. That's it?
That's it.
Okay. More simple than I thought. Thank you. Thank you.
And you can use your AI to form your docs and stuff. Just make sure that you're being specific. And like I said, AI is just going to mirror you. So if you're not being very intelligent with your instructions, it's not going to be very intelligent with its output. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you got a good knowledge base when you ask them to form your docs for you.
And also, it's been programmed to protect the banks, so we have to be careful with. Sometimes you have to know more than what the AI is telling you to do, because they were made to protect these entities. They were programmed by them, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So you have to know more of your foundational knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way, when you put it in there, the AI will respond with the information you gave it, plus the information that it can pull from. So yeah, it'll definitely misdirect you if you give it the opportunity. It's done me several times.
Thank you.
Dr. Heather, you said, I'm sorry, you said something about a book a while ago. That's all I want. You said, was that the Wise Trust Handbook?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hey, all, this is Isaac.
Hey, Isaac.
Hey, so I was listening to what you all were saying about operating with the sole prop as the essentially trustee and fiduciary for your trust. Which is essentially what I'm doing. The only statement or comment that I have is I haven't submitted any additional paperwork to the IRS regarding my sole prop being the trustee for my revocable living trust, because they're essentially the same entity to the IRS. The Social Security account, your living trust, and a sole prop are all the same living person behind it. And it's my understanding that you don't have to submit any additional paperwork to them. Now, obviously, you have to update your trust documents. But have you all been filing Form 56s and 2848s when switching over to your sole prop as trustee?
Yeah, you'll issue a 2848 or 56. So you'll give it power of attorney and the fiduciary roles and responsibilities.
And you haven't gotten any pushback from the IRS on it?
No, it's an entity, not you. You got to stay as a beneficiary. Okay. They'll give you pushback if you're trying to claim beneficial interest and you're moving as a trustee. But they know as soon as you get the EIN, just like Private Express Trust, they'll know when you get the EIN.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Jeremy, I have a question. Since we have a non-decedent and our Social Security number is under that, and the sole prop's going to be the trustee. If we have a court case, traffic ticket or whatever, that takes the trustee position away from the court, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should, but they're going to act in dishonor. So, because that's all they know, right? They know the little tricks and stuff. People come in, but if you know how to file on the case, file on the bonds, and recoup on the backside of that, that's going to get them in the end. I just had a case expunged, but we put in a lot of crazy paperwork on that one. We put in a world diplomatic immunity, habeas corpus. We did a 1099. Didn't we do a 1099 ABB on that? Or hell, I don't remember what we did, but it ended up getting completely expunged and didn't cost me anything. But it takes time to catch on to what you're doing, because they're going to try everything in the works to hide it so they can still collect. And that's what they did to me. I mean, they even put me back in the system. I wasn't in the system. They entered, like when I got arrested down in Houston, they put me back in the system after entering me in under John Doe. So then they got my license and they put me back in the system, but you couldn't find me in the system nowhere. So when everything was said and done, between the habeas corpus, the world diplomatic immunity, which they can't have that on the record because that's illegal, and then all the paperwork we did on the backside with the 1099As, all the tax stuff, it just got completely expunged.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't know half of the shit that was going on, so I was learning as it was happening.
I'm sorry, what does expunged mean? I'm sorry.
Like it never happened.
Oh, okay.
They did some janky shit the whole fucking way. They retaliated against me. They arrested me in the parking lot and claimed that they arrested me for trespassing on HEB when they went in and solicited after the fact. Yeah, all kinds of shit. Illegally put me back in the system after I'd already sent in my paperwork and was brought out. Yeah, it's the good luck with the courts. All right, everybody's experiences are going to be different. You just have to be willing to stick it out. And some places are nastier than others because they will send the police after you if you start coming at them through equity and shit. So just be mindful of what you're doing, because it will trip up some bad people. And when you start fucking with these Freemasons and all their little fucking clicked up groups inside these communities, it gets pretty bad. They've tried to destroy me for years.
So I have a question. Can you put property in a trust that has say an IRS lien on it?
You can, but you're still going to have that on the public side that you're going to have to deal with. And the reason why you can is because they never had any rights to the property. They only have rights to the paperwork, to the documents.
Right.
All right. That's what you signed over to them, because they can't own property.
Okay.
So you can do whatever you want with the property. Just know that that bill is still going to be there, and people are still going to try and collect, and people are still going to come after their assets on the paperwork side.
Okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to.
Yeah, don't pick a fight unless you know how to fight it.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, I know my rights, but you don't know your system and how to, use those rights in that system, because we don't have any rights in this system.
Couldn't she just satisfy the lien debt through a CP 575 voucher payment?
I'm working on it.
I actually just spoke with an IRS agent yesterday, and I was told that you can satisfy those types of debts with IRS vouchers.
Yep, 670 vouchers.
I'm working on getting that.
Yeah, you fill it out like a money order. Yeah, just fill it out like a money order and send it in.
Well, I had to accept my CP, 575, and it took me forever to get someone online, on the call. But I did that yesterday. So.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Jeremy, I got a question. I received my common law passport probably last year. Do I have to apply for the American passport?
The national?
Yeah, the regular.
I don't know how that. Yeah, I don't. I think once you have your common law, when you're good, the other one is going to be. They want you to sign as a or as a citizen.
Okay. Yeah,
so
and see,
people having issues with that versus being a national.
And see, and also too, I didn't even take my passport card. I took the passport, but I didn't take the passport card. And I hadn't even tried to attempt to use the common law passport.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would know what it is, so they probably just jerk you out of your car and call you a sovereign citizen.
Okay, gotcha.
That's been my experience with these buffoons. Is somebody taught them some new words, so that's the only thing that comes out of their mouth whenever you try and speak reason to them.
Yeah, sovereign. Yeah, I was on the phone with Navy Federal, and I had sent them I printed out my credit card statement, and I got that stamped, paid to the order of treasury. And the manager comes along, and she's like, "Look, we don't deal with that sovereign stuff." I said, "Ma'am, I'm just calling about
slander charge, civil court, sue the fuck out of them." Every time somebody says that,
I'm gonna hit them after anyway. I'm
always get a recording of it. Yeah, every time they fucking call you a sovereign citizen, that's slander right there. Get a recording of it. Record your interactions with them. Take them to civil court and sue their ass. Fuck them people.
Yeah, well, I was on the phone driving. But I have sent them some negotiable. I have sent them some statements last year, and I'm really about to hit them because, like I said, they've done it. Like they've kept three of them, I think, so far. So I'm going to hit them up. Trust me. I'm once I get in position, I'm gonna write the letter and go from there. So yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff you gotta do besides just sending documents to them. You gotta appoint them a fiduciary, give them power of attorney, and then they gotta act on your behalf for your benefit. But until then, they're gonna act without you. They're gonna act on their behalf. They're gonna not disclose anything to you because they don't have
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all this, I didn't really start having problems with Navy until I removed their fiduciary, that 56F.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you issue them a 56F.
Yeah, but you're not. He wants to do a 56F. 56F is for institutions. You're only supposed to do a 56. The 56F is what is getting you in trouble. Not only that, the way you want to hit these companies.
You're breaking up, baby.
Oh, okay. How's that? Is that better?
It's a little better.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to do a 56F. 56F is for institutions. You want to do a 56, and then even with that, you need to hit them from an SEC standpoint, from a securities fraud standpoint. The way you're attacking, it's never going to happen. You're never going to get those securities back. They're ignoring you because you're not in proper standing in their eyes. And so you have to spank them with documents and prove through their process, their 8K, 10K, and SEC filing, where they have illegally.
Steve, mute while she's talking. Let's see if that helps. Steve, mute for a second.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, you have to spank them with their 8K, 10K, and SEC filings because it's in there where they admit what they're supposed to be doing versus what they're actually doing, and then you have to follow the chain of issuer, indentured trustee, depositor. That whole process in there is where you're going to nail them and then prove to them that you lied to the SEC about what you're doing. You're not just selling securities, and you're illegally transferring or assigning my securities to your subsidiary trustee and then selling it on the secondary market. It is it's a whole chain of things that you have to follow in order to get them to force them to perform on those discharges. And really, it will be simpler to take a different route. Honestly, it would be simpler to take a different route if you can just get your vouchers. You can discharge that way through your trust and discharge properly that way.
And I'm also going to also get that because they are a nonprofit, 503(14) nonprofit, and I also want that they're also transferring their securities to the parent company. I'm going to get as well. So, like I said, yeah, but I do have some homework to do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not just talking, but yeah, I got some homework and I got a process I got to do. But I absolutely agree with you. But Navy Federal.
Yeah, Navy Fed is a bear, but you may want to read and learn about Ocular 10. I believe that's what it's called. Because
You're right. OC10. And guess who taught me about OC10 is Eon. I took a consultation with him last year, and he's the one that actually taught me about the OC10.
Yeah, that's real because in there it's going to help you understand where in the process that the fraud happened. Really, it's the assignment of your securities in bundle to their trust. That's where it happens. But you have to find it, and you have to find it in their public documentations. And once you can do that, then you can nail them. But until you do that, yeah, it's just going to be futile effort.
Yeah, I wish I could get access to the DTC or the DTC or the DTTC or DTCC. I wish I can get access to that because, like I said, everything's going through them, the in clearing deposits. But like I said, I've been doing this for a minute. Well, not a minute. I've been doing this for almost 2 years, and like I said, some of the information that I get, I'm just, like I said, just putting it out there. But yeah, everything you're saying, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, you're not going to find it on the DTCC. Because they are just the vehicle for the transfer. You know what I'm saying? They're the DTCC is where they recoup the funds after the sale. So you're not going to get it there. It's all the steps they took to get to the DTCC. You know what I'm saying? So there's another document. I can't think of what it's called right now, but that document literally shows like it's a Navy Federal document, and it literally shows it's like their official balance sheet where it shows where they took in the receivables, which is your loan or your credit card, where they took it in, where they pooled it, and then where they transferred it to their subsidiary trust, because that's the proof right there. And then when you couple that,
that's the one I want. That one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
How'd you get it? How do you get it?
Someone sent it to me. I can't even remember what it's called, and I don't.
It's in their 8K and 10K filings.
So you know what I'm talking about?
I do. It's in their 8K and 10K filings. It's like an exhibit within them, and every single one of these companies have to have it.
Yes, and there's a name for it, and I can't think of what it's called. But every one of these thieves has one. But that you couple that with the AK, 10K, and SEC filings, But I mean, you have to be knowledgeable about how everything flows in order to pinpoint each time they committed fraud.
Are you talking about indentured trustee?
Say that again.
It's indentured trustee. That's what people look for in K and 8K forms.
No. The indentured trustee is literally part of the process of fraud, but no.
Find that form. But I'm gonna tell you also what Navy Federal did around December. I was trying to open up a revocable trust, and and sent the documents in because I was trying to get actually my account retitled. They wouldn't do it, and then they kept coming back. Right, and then I said, well, let me just open up a regular trust. And I've got conversations where they kept saying, hey, we don't offer that kind of trust. And I was like, okay, well, regardless on what kind of trust you don't offer, what trust do you offer? I'm just coming in asking pure information, what kind of trust you offer. And they kept coming back, oh, we don't offer trust. We don't offer trust. I said, okay, no problem. I got documentations of conversation.
They do offer trust.
Of course
they offer revocable.
Of course they do.
But here's the thing about their revocable trust, because I have Navy Fed. Here's the thing about the revocable trust. They're going to want you to sign their certificate of trust making them power of attorney or a trustee so that they can still control. And what you can do is you can give them limited trustee power in that. And I know that a couple of people have done it. I just choose not to even deal with them for trusts. I know a lot of local credit unions will offer the irrevocable trust. I know that U.S. Bank offers irrevocable trust. Wells Fargo, Bank of America. I would just not even deal with Navy Fed because they're going to feign ignorance every time unless you know exactly what to say to them to force them to perform.
I got you. I was able actually to open up a irrevocable trust through Truist. I found it.
Well, that's
I
good
did.
one.
I did that one, and I heard trust. But yeah, I was able to open up a irrevocable trust, and the main thing is so I can get the deposits that's going to be coming in my trust name, and then too, I was able to offer open up a Fidelity account with both my
That's
trusts.
what I was gonna say. If
So I did that.
trouble opening up at a local national bank, which you shouldn't, because like I said, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, and I forget the other one, but all of them will open one for you. But the best place to open it is at a brokerage. Literally at a brokerage. That's the best place to open your account and receive those funds because you're not going to get the pushback. That's the best place to open.
I was talking to a guy. Say what now? Yeah, I was talking to a guy. And me and him was talking about going back and forth because I was actually going to try to hire Fidelity, one of their agents, to be as it can be as a fiduciary and pull some of those credits down from my trust. So, but I never did get to go in there. And this was about a month and a half ago. But yeah, Fidelity. Yeah. So I was trying to get to do that.
Definitely, but if you do that, make sure you have a solid security agreement and a UCC1 on under your trust, so that your trust holds primary power. They let them act on your behalf, but make sure you have a solid security agreement and UCC1 under your trust.
Okay, got you. I've got the security agreement, the UCC one. I'm gonna have to actually go back in there and redo it because I seen Trump's his UCCs, and I'm gonna have to go back and man, when he put the agricultural lien on there, and so I got to do some of my stuff. But you on
is powerful. Let me tell you something.
That's how he got his charges removed from New York.
That's all he did, though. And that's all he did. But the other key that I'm going to say about your security agreement, in order for your security agreement to be effective and be recognized, because I know I've learned that a lot of people were having trouble, were not having the effective power that they needed to operate in situations where they had to fight for something to either get it back or to fight to keep from something being taken. Is that your security agreement has to be operating under some states' laws, right? So I can't remember the verbiage, but you have to make sure that your security agreement is stating that this security agreement is operating under California law or operating under Delaware law or
because the person who did mine according to Tennessee law.
Okay,
he did my security and he did my security, my harmless, and my certificate of trust and my trust agreement. So he did that according to Tennessee law.
Now here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. Under those security agreements, you can dictate what state you want it to operate under. It just needs to be following some law, some state law. And your best bet, the same way opening up your trusts and LLCs for proper, for better protection and privacy, you can have your security agreement operate under Delaware's laws, so that you maintain privacy, maintain superior power over all, like over anyone coming against your trust, and for better privacy. So you can dictate that in your security agreement, and then you can use a combination of state to govern your security agreement. Yeah, but that is key to make your security agreement effective.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all taking my time.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for that great conversation and insight from Infinite Abundance and Steve. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah. If you didn't stop us, we're gonna be here at about 5 o'clock.
No, we're not. We done at 3 o'clock.
I know.
So y'all better get your questions in and your comments and all of that. So anybody who has questions, comments, thoughts?
I just had a real quick question for clarity. So regarding the types of trust that we should have. So I remember, oh my gosh, what was his name? And Jeremy. Jeremy was he was mentioning that our irrevocable trust should be the, what's my note here? Should be the private express trust, right? So then we should basically have 3 trusts: the revocable, the private express trust, which is the irrevocable, and the sole prop. Is that correct?
Jeremy, you still there? Maybe he stepped away for a second. I'm not sure. We'll wait for him to come back on. He must have stepped away for a second.
Okay, no worries.
Repeat the questions. Let me see if I can answer. Repeat it.
Okay, so he was mentioning that our private express trust should be irrevocable. So then I just wanted to get clarification. We should have 3 trusts: a revocable trust, a private express trust, which is the irrevocable, and then the sole prop, which is really our chess person that's moving and shaking. I just wanted to clarify that those are the 3 trusts that we basic trusts that we need to move and groove exactly the way we need to.
Sounds like it. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I would just add spendthrift clause to the irrevocable trust if I were you guys.
Agreed. Spendthrift. You got to have that spendthrift clause for sure.
And what is that?
It's where, okay, so like most of our like stuff, like our Social Security trust and all that stuff like that, all of that has a spendthrift. I can't even talk. Spendthrift clause in those documents. I don't know the exact definition off the top of my head, but I did do some research on it. So now I included that in all of my trust and also your security agreements. So do some research on spendthrift, SPENDTHRIFT. I had a brain fart for a second. Sorry, y'all.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's to answer the question earlier. I would start out with those. You'll learn more. You'll open more when you get down the road. But I'd start out with that: revocable, irrevocable, and
the sole prop.
Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate that, Jeremy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll learn other stuff about getting the estate EIN, the foreign grantor trust, and then, just like Dr. Heather had mentioned, mentioned the spendthrift. There's a whole bunch of other trust and stuff you'll learn, but with this information, that'll get you going.
So Jeremy, when you go onto the IRS for the estate EIN, is that where you click on the sole prop?
No, let me pull that website.
I'm so confused on the estate EIN.
The state EIN is totally separate from the sole prop. 2 different things. 2 different types.
Yeah, when you go in to get the EIN, it is one of the options. LLC, sole prop, trust, estate, corporate. Yeah.
Yeah, with the living revocable trust, we're actually setting ourselves up to be the lender, so we don't get in trouble for doing the 1099 paperwork and all the other stuff we're doing. Right, and then there's other processes where you need to be set up as a banker in order to do things. If not, you can get in trouble. So that's why I say just the basics, the fundamentals. Learn the paperwork. Learn that there's instructions to every form through the IRS. If you don't know the names or some of the words in there, you need to do research and figure out what word means what. But the instructions are pretty self-explanatory. One of the biggest things I missed early on was accepting the CP 575 and realizing that thing had to have the credits posted on the transcript before I sent out payment coupons, used for payment coupons, right? Because what happens is you get a bad check penalty for $5,000. All right. Here's another one where it's a dishonored payment amount and then a back check penalty, $13,944. So they're basically, it's not that you got in trouble, it's that they had to hold your funds because you didn't pull them down when you got them fucking added. Or there were no funds on your EIN when you sent in the documentation for payment. So I think for a lot of us, we're going to have that bad check penalty because it never actually got moved. So they have to incur the liability of holding those amounts. Right here, I've got penalty increase, dishonored check or other form of payment, which was $5,900. I've got another penalty increase, failure to pay, $66,600. And then I've got a interest charges, $94,657. And that was on a $549,000 claim. What I'll be getting in return after they receive this and cut me my check will be $381,958.37. That's why I say just don't miss any steps and read the instructions, because we skipped out on some instructions in the beginning and it created us a lot of problems down the road.
And then you mentioned something about ensuring that we are recorded or set up as lender in the eyes of the IRS. When you say that, what do you mean?
So if you just don't do anything and then you go file a 1099, all right, you've committed fraud because you're not positioned as a lender. You've been operating as the surety, the guy liable for everything. Okay. Right. So that's why it's important to get the trust set up, recorded, notice the system. And then from there, you can start issuing you learn about what the 56s are for, what the 2848's for. You learn how to appoint people fiduciary. See, the state already does it. And I mean, the state ain't even doing it at this point. These companies just automatically do it. And then since you haven't objected or you haven't given any instructions, they act on their behalf for their benefit and they give you zero disclosure to force them. And to get that, force them to work on your behalf for your benefit, you have to issue the Form 56 and the 2848 for each individual company and what they're doing for you. Remember, you're the employer now, right? So all these corporations, which are below you because they're not living men and women, even though they're owned by a living man or woman, but you're still over here. They're called service corporations. All right. Okay. Every corporation is a service corporation. They're supposed to provide a service. And when you're providing a service, if the service isn't wanted, then you can reject it at any time because the entire system is voluntary, because servitude is voluntary. Right. No one here is supposed to be a slave because that's illegal. And what they're doing by holding us surety is creating crime. They're committing crime. And we don't know any different. So that's where the whole saying, if you ain't got any rights, or if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Because if you don't know what they're doing wrong, then you don't know they're doing you wrong. That's the basis behind it. So,
and then specifically using that sole prop in proper standing with the 56 and 2848 before the IRS will eliminate those erroneous charges and penalties when you do the process of submitting the 1099s, pulling those down onto the account, and then filing the appropriate tax return to then recoup that in as a refund.
Yeah, your 1041s and your 1040 filings which most of us will do a 1040 filing in the beginning. That's how you pull down credits. So if you look on your transcript and you've got 4 million withheld, all right, you can pull down however much you want out of that through your 1040 filing.
Okay. So you don't
have the other process. You don't have to, no, but you can.
Okay. I think that's where a lot of people are getting in trouble. It's those large amounts, and the IRS is going, and I guess it's forcing the IRS to look at them, have a real actual person look at them, and then they're holding it up, and so people are getting like no response, and they're getting stuck in the system.
They probably missed a step somewhere.
Okay.
That's why I've been at this for 2 years and hadn't found remedy yet, but I'm pretty freaking close now because I've got an amended return for 250. That's going to be held up till October, or I'm on a time frame till October, and I could get it after. I don't know when the amended returns pay out. I've heard people say quite a long time. Then I've got the 670s that were sent to me, the payment 670s. The return on those is 3 weeks after, you have a 3-week window to get a check after the IRS receives it. So, and then the ESs and Ds that I did that I sent in a 670 for, turned it into a money order and waiting for that. So there's quite a bit of funds out there. There's over 2 mil and just shit coming back from different filings last year and this year.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna claim it in unison and in energy with you that those suckers come back post haste.
Yeah, you got a 670. Unless you're doing a regular tax filing, anything else, you just attach one of those blank 670s you turned into a money order for the amount that you're filing for, and then that right there, that kicks the. I want to say that's going to kick off the check. It's filling out a 670 like a money order. That'll give you your check return.
And so essentially in this process, you have to pay it, put the money in to pull it out. Essentially, that's what the 670 is doing.
No, you're doing that through the CP 575.
Okay. And so
and then you can do you can file an A and a BB on the CP 575 itself, the EIN number, and you can pull another 2 bill that way. That'll give you a property value of $2,174,600 and something, or million and thousand.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that all comes after. Yeah, that all comes after you file. You notice you get your revocable living trust set up. You file your paperwork to the system to notify them. The state attorney. I did local IRS, the state attorney general's office, and the IRS/Treasury headquarters. So I sent off to those 3, and then the IRS, the 2848, the Form 56. I did an 8822 to do a change of address because they need to have the right address on file. So if you don't know if they have the right address, go ahead and fill out a 2848 and send it in to them.
Right.
Because they're going to need that for your paperwork, because they'll be sending it to the old address if you haven't updated it.
Okay. Yeah, he meant 8822.
Yeah, the 8822.
There was a female that was on a RECOUPERS call, and she was talking about she had 2 billion, something, 1 million, 100 million on her American Express.
Oh,
and how did she do that? Because she was talking, because even on one of the call, it was in the RECOUPERS, and she was saying that she used her card and wasn't working or something, and she said no. She noticed that she charged something, it kept saying 0 balance, and when she called in American Express, she had a credit, and she used one of those coupons. That's why I was asking, how did she do it? Do you know exactly how you think she probably would have done it?
I have no idea about it too. I don't know who that person you're speaking of.
So
I got an idea.
I've been toying with some shit on the private side, and we ain't figured it out yet, but it's kind of the same process. I want to say that you have to move on both sides. You have to send things from the private, and then you also got to file things on the public side to make the organizations move in that manner. But like $250K a quarter for life in the private, and that's where your public ledger would show up as 0. And you would have to keep a private ledger to keep track of the funds you spend.
All right, because they can't put any of those lawful credits. Now, also too, with those lawful credits, is since it's done through a credit card, the bank is probably holding the credits lawfully in the private, and then anytime there's a deficit, since she's probably got a Form 56 and a 2848 sent out to them, they're moving those credits from the private to pay that deficit on the public, and her using the Visa bank card is the commercial interface in order to make those lawful credits appear commercial.
Okay, gotcha. And I wish I knew her name, but she was discussing on the call, because I've been trying to, last 2 days, I've been trying to find the call so I can actually listen to it and see if she made any where she probably just said something how she did it, but I was just curious.
Man, if you figure out who she is, because I'm working some stuff on that right now. If you figure out who she is, send me a link or something, or hit me up.
Okay, now there was also. I yield. I'm gonna land my plane.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that conversation that the only person that I have seen is that video that says Mona, where she did a paperwork for the 56 regular, and then the F1 2848, and she did her paperwork differently from other people that have been saying how. And then she said that actually the 9999 number showed up in her credit card, and then anything that she paid, it would just kind of zero out.
I think that might have been her. I think that was her.
Yeah, but we don't. For what I know, yes. For what I know, that she's from some other group where they charge for the information, and so I'm not sure what the group is.
True. Her group is a study group, and it does not charge.
Yeah, study group for newbies is the name of her group.
And there is no charge.
There's no charge for that. I know that personally. There's no charge for that. I'm one of the admins over there.
Yeah, that's the same Mona we know then, huh?
It is.
Okay. I got you.
Over there, and they do not charge in that group. They do not charge in that group at all.
Yeah, that's what I just read.
Hello, this is Mommy.
Doctor,
that was free.
Hello, guys.
No, you're correct. We're all confirming the same thing. They don't charge over there.
Is that the group that Mona's in, the group that Mona's in, they charge, not Mona.
It wouldn't have been her group then. We're just clarifying that study group for newbies does not charge. So I'm not sure what group you guys were in that she may have been speaking on, and they charge. Maybe it was a private class that was going on. I know sometimes they do private classes where they have like a guest speaker like Myron Rice and things like that. And I know they did charge for that, but I don't think they do them that often. So it's not a regular thing. Maybe they have like something like that, like a guest speaker that we have to pay them to come onto the platform and stuff. So that's the only reason why she would charge for those things. And it's totally separate from study by newbies.
I have a question about the situs of the foreign grantor trust. Do people at one point move the situs of the foreign grantor trust to one of the Republic states, or do people keep it totally an overseas address?
Oh, you mean like when you do like a foreign grantor's trust, stuff like that?
Yeah, to get a 98 number for a foreign grantor trust?
For mine, I did mine in Morocco, but I have a U.S. mailing address. I just never did anything with the Morocco address. But everything came to my U.S. address, so I didn't care about anything that they may send. They're not going to send anything to Morocco. I just used that address in order to get it, but to get the 98 number when I called it in. But everything was mailed to my U.S. address. I don't use that foreign address. I don't use that foreign address.
Yes. So as we know, on the SS4 form, there are two address boxes. One is for mailing. One is for the kind of headquarters or situs of the entity. But I'm just wondering if anybody here has elected to move the situs from overseas, because we have the right to move situs of a trust, and with all trusts, the address that pertains to the jurisdiction determines the tax liability, and if we move it to the land and soil jurisdiction of a republic, Article 4 guaranteed republic land and soil jurisdiction, with a zip code accepted address, it should, under Title 26, it should be tax exempt, and it should still remain as non-domestic and without the United States. But when I do research and get opinions on this from others, people seem to have the opinion or assertions or convictions that, the United States doesn't care about that. They'll railroad you into not recognizing that situs. I mean, really, the United States doesn't recognize anything that doesn't give them the upper hand. But, we have to stand in our square and defend our position. And there are Supreme Court decisions that basically opined that the republic states are foreign to the United States. So, I just wonder.
Four-corner rule. You put care of C/O, your address, and then down there when you get to your zip, put a box on it. Don't just, the little half box on each end of it. That's putting you back on the land and soil jurisdiction. Yeah, that's how you write that address. The other one is the commercial side, the entity address.
Right. I mean, but just I've conversed with various individuals, and many kind of learned people have opined, right? And I'm kind of like it just really irritates me a little bit, because it also makes me wonder if they have conflict of interest being in spaces telling this to people.
They all do,
right?
You're going to get kickback no matter what you do. All right, it's just like trying to inform an officer that the statutes and codes only apply to him, not us, unless he can prove that we're actually out working as in an occupation as a driver, and he can produce the contract that we're getting paid that's tied back to his organization. That's the only time that he has authority, but no other time does an officer have authority. But anytime you try and tell them, you get met with opposition pretty fucking quick, not only on the side of the road, in the courts, and anywhere else you try and go and enforce your rights. So just because there's a conflict doesn't mean that it's not right. I know that a lot of people are, they say this or that, but in order to write your address properly, you put care of, and then you use the four-corner rule, and that puts you back in the land and soil jurisdiction. Anytime you're sending anything out from an entity, it needs to be from a P.O. box, not your physical address. All right, so if you got to say your trust, if you want to set your trust up, your Irrevocable Living Trust, set it up through a P.O. box. All right, just have shit sent to you. Like say you're ordering something on Amazon and you want something sent to you personally. Do a virtual address. You can do all kinds of addresses to keep it from your location. But any entity should be done through a P.O. box, not your physical address. That's how they hook us in.
Yeah, I agree. And I do this. I did this. But here's the thing that I want to harp on. Like, we as private Americans who are not 14th Amendment citizens, we have a right to have our foreign trust, foreign to the United States, non-domestic, without the United States trust, be set up on the land and soil of one of the several states. And that's basically, instead of me claiming that, I have a trust situs in Morocco, I just want to bring it here and put it in the Republic,
Yeah, I just did a private express trust. I just did a family of private express trust. That's me operating as the sovereign. And you got an EIN, and that'll notice the system that you're operating through a private express trust. It needs to be it has to say it in the title. All right. An irrevocable private express trust. That's you and the sovereign. That's you and the private. You can administer everything else through entities. I've been reluctant. I've got to do the foreign grantors trust eventually, but I've been reluctant to do it because I understand that we can control everything through a private express trust here on the land and soil. Because anytime I send anything from the private express trust, it's always care of and the four corner rule on my address, and then it's done. And it's done completely different.
What about a rural route for your address? If you have that,
I use that rural route carrier. In the city, there's a carrier route number, and then street address goes first. Apartment number goes, or building numbers goes after the street address. No abbreviations. It's not the state of state. It is whatever, like Arizona state or California state. And I also put like Republic in square brackets also, and then put the zip either accepted with the there's a domestic mail manual entry. Do I have it here? Let me see. That gives that shows the exception for zip code usage for first class mail and registered mail, and certain, like, because registered mail also is first class mail, I think. And yet when I went to send like registered mails to my, for instance, private bank or to my trust with the zip accepted Republic mail address, I have always problem at the post office. They just don't want to send it. They always put a zip code into the computer. They get you to confirm the address with the zip code. It's just like a shit show in the post office.
Well, like I said, they've been operating this way for a long time, so it's all they know. So you're going to have that. So I just do it easy. Right now, everything's under one address. The difference between my private express trust and my revocable living trust is the care of and the four corner rule. I don't have a PO box set up yet. Everything's still coming here like it typically does, but I signify the difference. Everything else is set up on this address except for my private express trust, which is care of, the address, and then the four corner rule on the zip code. I'm all about keep it simple, stupid. And if I need to change something, then I'll do it down the road. But as of right now, it's working.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, we just wanted to kind of give time check. We only have 10 more minutes for this call, but go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Heather, good afternoon. Yeah, and I've been waiting to just speak for like 20 minutes.
Go ahead.
I have a few questions. Okay, let's see. Going back to the 670, the CP 670, can that be used to pay any taxes, like state taxes as well?
That I'm not sure. I know that people.
No, I can
ahead.
tell you right now, the state has their own voucher system. So you would probably need to contact them to find out your respective state.
Okay, so federal IRS is fine,
Strictly,
but not the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no problem. Second question, for the sole prop, I was calling my credit union yesterday to set up a sole prop account, and they were saying I need like a business license, and I understand we don't want to do a DBA to register anything with the county or the state, because then we're going back into the bad guys' jurisdiction. So is that usually required, or I need to look for another location that's going to let me open one up? Because as long as I have the EIN letter and I can show them my SS4 or the 56 that states I'm the trustee, that should be good enough, right?
Yeah, but all banks have different requirements. So if they're saying that you need a license a business license to open in order to operate using their credit union, then that may be just something that they're requiring. Not all banks require, like Bank of America, you can open up a business account for a sole prop without any of that. I opened up my Delta, I live in Georgia, opened up my Delta Community Credit Union with my sole prop, and it's no problem.
And that's B of A, you said? B of A was okay with that?
BOA, yes.
BOA, okay.
Yeah, my daughter has her checking account is the sole prop.
Okay, I'll try that. And then earlier we were talking about the foreign grantor, because I do have my private banker, I have my estate EIN, I have my sole prop EIN, and I still have to do my trust. And I was almost ready to do the irrevocable, but then last week I spoke to someone and they recommended that's under the corporation jurisdiction. So common law and kind of going private, we're not under any of their jurisdiction, and that's the last few members we're talking about the foreign grantor. So I'm still kind of learning about the private express, and I still have to learn a little bit.
There's so many terms, so don't feel you're not behind. You're right on time. There's so many terms. Don't worry. Everybody's gonna feel like that.
Okay, because I think to file the 1099s online, like I think Jeremy said earlier, you do need to have your 56, 28, 48, and then a bank account with that EIN, and the trust needs to be set up when you're getting the checks back. But before you file anything in there, at least I think the 56, the 28, 48, and the non-decedent letter, I think that's the minimum that is needed for not to get in trouble. Is that right? Or is there another? Are those three like minimum, you would say, or is there something else?
Yeah, you basically need to change your decedent status.
Okay, so three things.
Until you change that, you're not going to be considered a lender. You're considered surety because you haven't stepped forward yet.
Okay, well, my package for the claim your credit to the state, the AG, the Secretary of State, the IRS, all that was ready, even the letter, except the foreign grantor. I mean, the irrevocable trust. That was the last big piece I was gonna put in there, and then I kind of got, speaking with a few members recently, kind of got double-minded. So it does make sense that I shouldn't have anything in their jurisdiction. That's what's holding me up. So you're saying before I file the 1099, make sure I get that non-decedent letter in. My 56 and the 28 for the estate and the private banker is already sent in. My sole prop was done a long time ago, so they just sent me the EIN inquiry, and I need to have them do the acceptance so I can get the 670, and then usually with the 670, once I get that, I will send in the 56, the 28, 48 for each entity, because I've heard the 28, 48, and the 56 needs to be sent in for each entity. So I think doing that and sending in the letter, then I'll be okay to file through Iris, whatnot. Is there anything else that is needed so we don't get in trouble?
Just mainly that initial paperwork. As long as you get the EIN, make sure you accept it. To me, that's the final step. Once you print it out, make sure you make a copy of it, write accepted, put your phone number, the time, and then down in the bottom right-hand corner, your name with your social, no spaces.
Okay, now for one of my entity, for my estate, I do have the 670. So I used to say no bod, and then I called in. They didn't acknowledge anything over the phone, but then I did a consultation with one of the other members that knows a lot about CP 575, and then I sent it in the mail, and I was told that sending in the 56, the 28, 48, and the copy of the SS4 is needed, because when you do it online, it's nobody is signing for it, right? Especially
Yeah, that's why you accept it and send it back. When you do it online and print it out, you have to accept it. So you write accepted, the date you accepted, and then that other little tidbit, and then mail it back to them. That's the final check in the box saying, yes, all the information is correct. Let's move forward.
Yes. And because over the phone, they were kind of hesitant. They didn't really give me any confirmation. So I ended up getting some help and doing it through the mail. And before the one in the mail that I sent in, before that was delivered, I checked my mail. Then I got the 670 with the BODCD, and that referenced back to the call I made, which was like a week before. So I was surprised. So I did get one 670 with the business of division code, which is needed to activate your vessel. And I'm also finding out that if that's not done, when you make any of these payments, the 1040s, or even paying any other taxes, without this piece, that's your checkbook, right? The golden checkbook, you can say, connected to the treasury account where all your credits are connected to your estate, that is needed. So recently I had a bill for like 4 years, 11 grand that they were trying to claim. So I used my first CP to pay that, which I just put in the mail a few days ago. And somebody earlier mentioned that you got to make sure that there's credits like on the CP before I make that payment. Otherwise, there's penalties, because
they're not
activated.
Much. So here's some of the penalties I got. Let me just run through it real quick. I know we're almost out of time.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, so just some of the penalties real quick before you ask that question. I got penalized for dishonored check, $5,900. Failure to pay with $66,600, and then my penalty increase, failure to pay, and then interest charges. My interest charges were $94,000, but that was out of $549,000 for 2022 tax year, and they still ended up. They're going to send me a check for $381,958
out of the 5. So they've taken, but you get to claim that back, right? So if that's what they're charging you, and you're going to use your CP to pay anything you pay, because once you have your coupon, you kind of want them to give you a bill, because you're not paying from your back pocket. You're paying them through that coupon, through the treasury credits, and then you're going to recoup it back through the 1099, because that's what you paid. So that's actually good once you're in that position, not the old position where we were in the public and you had to go get more fake
ask for permission.
right. So you said to have credit. So I thought when I filed the 1099 for my credit cards or my car loan, that's when the credits are gonna be, or the 1040s, that's when the credits are gonna show up on the transcript. You're saying, like, so the credits on the transcript, even when we make the payments to the IRS, there needs to be some credit. So if I paid the 11,000 and so far I don't have anything on the transcript, I just have my 670 activated, they're gonna hit me with the penalty for that 11 grand, you're saying?
Well, there's an amount on top of the 670. There should be like a 5 number or something up there. That's how much. Yeah, that's how much is attached. That's how much is attached to the 670.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. So the 6, well, mine was a bunch of 9s. I didn't see the negative number, but it was a positive number. It was a bunch of 9s. So probably one right below the billion, 999 million, like that number we hear everybody saying. It's not the 2 billion, 2.1 that we keep hearing. Is really
that's a
not
1099.
confirmed.
They filed a 1099-A and then a BB to get the 2 billion. So that's property value. All right. So now you have 2 billion in credits that you can access.
Okay, so you
can
would
pull
have
down,
to do that one. So you do that one time by filing the 1099s, and then you go handle all your business from that 2 billion. So is that the first thing you got to do, or you could just start paying the bills like credit cards, the IRS bills, maybe your car loan, because there's like there's more than 100 million in there at the worst case, right? So if you paid $11,000 bill and a $50,000 car, it's not going to bounce because there's more than that. I mean, billions is that's a big number. I don't need to spend that right now, but even knowing that there's at least 100 million, 200 million in that account, my checks shouldn't bounce. So you're saying file the 1099 for a certain amount, get it on the transcript, then start paying the bills?
What are we pulling? 24% down off of that, Dr. Heather?
I think I think it's 24%. Yeah.
Yeah, you're filing a 1099-A for 24%, and then 2 Bs. One to barter the amount, the other one to pull it down. So once it hits your it'll be like a federal withheld. It'll be federally withheld, and then you can pull it down
Federal
from there.
tax withheld, yes.
Yeah.
FTW. So
any other way?
Go
ahead.
Okay. So if I got the 670 activated and I paid the bill, you're saying before I did that, I needed to do what you're telling me now, which is the 1099 AB, which is kind of going to be done for all the other things, car loans, credit card. You're saying I was supposed to pull the credits down on the transcript and then start using the coupon. I used it one step sooner. Is that what I did?
It sounds like it to me.
You could. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, once you figure out the amounts, don't really matter. I think the threshold is $300K a year. Anything over that would get looked through. So it would get an internal audit, and then if they found anything internally, they would come actually audit you.
Okay, so as long as if I did the one for 11,000, I have another one for 1,100 for 20.
Manny, you're gonna have to wrap this. We're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Right. I know, Tanisha. I didn't forget about you. It's okay.
Okay, thank you.
I got you. Manny, we're gonna have to wrap this up a little bit. Do you have any more final thoughts or questions or comment, Manny?
Yes. Give me one. I'm looking at my notes. Let's see.
Yeah, if you've got a 670, just fill it out and pay to the order of the United States Treasury, and they'll send you a check based off of that.
Oh, and then the signature you said. So we're not supposed to sign on that, like the right bottom corner. Like there's no signatures, or just no signature on the back.
No signature.
If you're not doing a blank, if you're paying to the order of the U.S. Treasury and you got the amount written out, printed, date,
here's the difference in your signature. If you sign it, the Treasury is going to keep it. If you don't sign it, they're going to kick a check out. It's that simple. But if you sign it, someone's going to take that check and keep it because you signed it. You openly endorsed it. Anybody can pick that check up and go deposit it. That's why you don't sign the 670s.
And you can also just look at that video that's in the 903 only folder regarding the 670s. There's a video in there they're with an IRS agent giving guidance about it as well, so you can get more details there.
Yep.
Okay, man.
Who was that last question?
Tanisha?
Yes, I wanted to know about the 56. When we open up the revocable trust at, just say like Chase or U.S. Bank, do we do a 56 or 56F as well on those accounts?
I would. I'll do a 56 and a 2848 and give them power of attorney to manage your accounts.
Okay. That's going
to make them operate in a true fiduciary role, not what they've been doing.
Okay.
Plus, they'll have to reroute the interest back to you. You know, they'll have to give you disclosure and all that shit because now they're on the radar.
Oh, okay. Because I've been having a problem with Chase, and U.S. Bank made me close my account.
Because why? Because you gave them a 56?
No, because they said the verbiage. It said sovereign. No, it actually said unalienable rights on the certificate. I think on the certificate of trust or something like that. And so like a week or two later after I opened the account, they called me to come close the account. But I had already been banking there over 10 years. So I still have the basic account there, but not the trust.
Yeah.
Can I interject? I've been hearing like a lot of people's certificate of trust and their trust agreement. When they're going to the bank, it has languages in there to where the bank is redeeming sovereign citizen. So I don't know if it has something to do with your trust agreement when you went in there to the bank.
Yeah, that's what she's saying. There was some type of verbiage on her certificate of trust that said unalienable rights.
Unalienable right, which applies to our living man, and that's where it's causing the problem.
That's the hiccup.
So you do want to take that verbiage out.
So I changed it, and they still didn't accept it because I guess they had already seen it. Yeah. So
try another bank, honey. That's what I would do.
Wells Fargo, BofA. Oh wait, BofA was one of them, or was it Chase?
BofA was. I've had multiple. I had my 98 number. I had a Bank of America account with them. My LLC.
They're good.
So they're pretty quick to kind of do it. You just got to give it to them and just keep it simple. Don't make it because you're operating in the public, right? So I understand, but you can protect your rights in other ways versus just giving them what they want up front. Not like don't just give in. What I'm saying is we can just make our certificate of trust very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated and be very wordy. It could be just a simple one, and so they can see that. And sometimes they'll ask you. Bank of America will ask for your full trust, which they shouldn't be asking you for that. So you can give them.
The other way you can protect yourself within the trust is by having your UCC1 and that security agreement in there, and keeping any kind of private citizen or living man verbiage out of your trust documents. Your trust is the operating vehicle, and then the stuff inside the trust is where you will assert your rights.
And you don't have to open up your trust to them. You don't. But I wouldn't recommend it. You're piercing your trust when you do that.
Right. I just really wanted to make sure about the 56 and 2848 to give them that.
I know people have done it. I haven't done that with my banks, and I should actually. But like Jeremy said, it is recommended.
Yeah, suretyship. Remember, they're holding you as surety. So what we're doing is flipping the roles from a secure position and making them surety by issuing them the 56 and the 2848. You're appointing them a task that they now have to follow trust law to accomplish. They can't just move like they've been doing where there's no disclosure. And you'll have them hook, line, and sinker if they violate you this way.
And then on capacity of that 56, would I be the trustee or the beneficiary? Being that I'm giving them partial
I'd go control. Set up a sole prop. Takes 5 minutes, and then move that to sole prop. Yeah, appoint the sole prop as the trustee and issue from the trustee, because the trustee's moving on behalf of the beneficiary, so the trustee would issue the 56 and the 2848 to the companies doing business with the trust.
Okay.
That's your new enforcer.
Okay.
You good, Tanisha?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We're over time. Thank you for this wonderful Saturday in the conversations. All of it has been great. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Continue to go into the folders and research. Do your own research, and move according to what works for you. And then post your questions as well. And then we'll be back here in 2 weeks. So we thank you guys for taking the time with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You guys have a good one.
Thank you.
God bless all of you.